Your salary increases. For a few weeks, you feel richer. You upgrade your phone, you add more subscriptions. You start eating outside more often. You choose a better apartment, a better car, or a more expensive lifestyle because it now feels possible. A few months later, you check your savings. Almost nothing has changed. Your income is higher, but your financial stress is still there. You begin asking a difficult question. Why am I earning more but still not moving forward? The answer is not always found in mathematics. It is often found in behavior. Money decisions are influenced by fear, pride, comparison, childhood experience, habits, hope, and the need to feel safe. Two people can earn the same amount and make completely different choices. One spends to look successful. Another saves because they once lived through uncertainty. One takes large risks because they feel behind. Another avoids every risk because they once watched someone lose everything. This is why money is deeply psychological. This video is inspired by the ideas in The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel, but it is explained here through an original InnerRise structure, simple English, and practical real-life examples. The central lesson is clear. Doing well with money is not only about what you know. It is also about how you behave when you are excited, afraid, jealous, impatient, or under pressure. A highly educated person can make a terrible financial decision. A person with ordinary knowledge can build stability through patience, restraint, and consistency. The difference often comes from behavior. In this lesson, we will explore why everyone sees money differently, why luck and risk matter, why getting wealthy and staying wealthy require different skills, why real wealth is often invisible, and why patience can be more powerful than intelligence. We will also look at one of the most important money questions. How much is enough? Because if you never define enough, every success can become another reason to take more risk. The goal of this video is not to tell you what to buy, sell, or invest in. The goal is to help you understand your own money behavior. When you understand the mind behind the decision itself becomes clearer. Chapter 1. Money is more about behavior than intelligence. Many people assume financial success belongs mainly to people who understand complex numbers. They imagine that the best investor, saver, or business person must be the person with the most technical knowledge. Knowledge matters, but behavior often matters more. A person may understand investing very well and still panic during a market fall. A person may know that debt is expensive and still borrow for status. A person may calculate the value of saving and still spend impulsively when feeling stressed. Information does not automatically control emotion. This is why money behavior deserves attention. Imagine two employees. Both earn the same monthly salary. The first employee receives income and immediately divides it into different purposes. Rent, food, savings, family needs, and personal spending each have a limit. The second employee also earns the same amount, but spending happens without a clear plan. The money feels available until the final week of the month. Then stress begins. The difference is not intelligence. The difference is behavior and structure. Another real-life example is a person who understands the danger of impulse buying. They know discounts are designed to create urgency. They know they do not need the item. Still, they buy because the purchase creates excitement. For a few minutes, the decision feels rewarding. Later, the same person feels regret. This shows that knowing and doing are separate skills. Financial behavior is often emotional. People spend to feel successful. They save to feel safe. They take risks because they feel behind. They avoid opportunities because they fear loss. They hide money problems because of shame. These emotional reasons can be stronger than logical calculation. A person may even use logic to defend an emotional decision. They want a luxury car because it represents status. Later, they create practical explanations. It will last longer. It is good for networking. I deserve it after working hard. Some of these reasons may be true, but the deeper reason may still be emotional. Understanding the emotional reason is not about judging yourself. It helps you make a more honest decision. You can ask, would I still want this if nobody saw it? Would I make the same choice if I were calm? Am I solving a real problem or trying to change a feeling? These questions reveal behavior. Another important part of money behavior is patience. Many good financial actions look boring. Saving consistently is boring. Avoiding unnecessary debt can feel boring. Waiting for long-term growth is boring. Keeping an emergency fund instead of spending it is boring. But boring behavior can create powerful results. Exciting behavior often carries more risk. A sudden opportunity promises fast profit. A friend talks about a new investment. Social media shows someone becoming rich quickly. The story creates urgency. You feel that waiting means missing out. This is where behavior matters more than knowledge. Even if you understand risk, fear of missing out can push you toward a decision that does not fit your situation. Consider a young professional who sees coworkers making money from a fast-rising investment. At first, the professional remains careful. Then the price rises again. Every conversation at work is about profit. The professional feels foolish for waiting. Finally, they invest a large amount, not because they studied the risk carefully, but because they no longer want to feel left behind. The decision is emotional. If the price later falls, they may panic and sell at the worst moment. The result comes from behavior at two different emotional extremes. Greed on the way up, fear on the way down. This is why good money behavior often means controlling yourself, not predicting the future. You cannot control every market, employer, economy, or opportunity. You can control how much risk you take, how much you save, and whether one emotional moment decides your future. Behavior also matters in high-income situations. A person can earn a great deal and still remain financially fragile. If spending rises every time income rises, wealth may never grow. This is called lifestyle expansion. You receive a raise. Your home becomes more expensive. Your car becomes more expensive. Your regular expectations become more expensive. Soon the higher income no longer feels high. You need the next raise just to feel comfortable again. A real-life example is a couple whose combined income grows over several years. At first, they live in a modest apartment and save regularly. As income rises, they upgrade everything. A larger home, 2 expensive vehicles, more travel, more subscriptions, more social spending. From the outside, they look wealthy. Inside, their monthly commitments are so high that one job loss would create serious stress. Their income grew. Their financial freedom did not. This is one of the key differences between income and wealth. Income is what enters. Wealth is what remains. Behavior decides much of what remains. Another important behavior is humility. Money involves uncertainty. You can make a careful decision and still receive a poor result. You can make a risky decision and get lucky. If you mistake luck for skill, you may take even larger risks. If you mistake one loss for permanent failure, you may stop making reasonable decisions. Humility allows you to say, I may be wronged. I do not understand everything. I should leave room for surprise. That mindset protects you. It encourages emergency savings. It discourages putting everything into one uncertain outcome. It reminds you that a plan should survive imperfect conditions. Financial intelligence without humility can become dangerous. A person may believe their knowledge makes them safe from every mistake. Then confidence grows faster than actual control. Behavior also includes the ability to say no. You may understand your budget, but social pressure can still break it. Friends invite you to an expensive trip. Family expects a large purchase. Coworkers upgrade their lifestyle. You feel embarrassed choosing a cheaper option. Saying no may be emotionally difficult, even when the mathematics is clear. This is why personal money decisions require personal values. You need to know what matters more: temporary approval, or long-term freedom? The answer will not always be simple. Relationships matter. Enjoyment matters. The goal is not to avoid every expense. The goal is to spend intentionally instead of automatically. A useful financial system reduces the number of emotional decisions. Automatic saving is an example. If savings move before spending begins, you do not need to make the same decision every month. A fixed waiting period before large purchases is another example. You give emotion time to settle. A personal spending limit also helps. You can enjoy money without allowing every desire to become a permanent commitment. The deeper lesson is simple. Money success is not only about knowing the right answer. It is about behaving well when the answer is difficult to follow. Chapter 2: Why Everyone Sees Money Differently. People do not make money decisions from the same life experience. Every person has a private financial history. Maybe you grew up with stability. Maybe money was always uncertain. Maybe your family avoided debt. Maybe debt was normal. Maybe your parents invested confidently. Maybe they lost money and became afraid. These experiences shape what feels safe. This is why two intelligent people can look at the same financial choice and disagree completely. One sees opportunity. The other sees danger. Both may be responding to different memories. Imagine two adults. The first grew up during a period when the family business did very well. The parents spoke positively about risk. The child saw investment lead to growth. As an adult, this person may feel comfortable taking calculated risks. The second adult grew up watching a parent lose savings in a failed business. The home became tense. Bills became difficult. As an adult, this person may prefer cash, savings, and safety. The same investment is shown to both people. One says, "This is a good opportunity." The other says, "This is too dangerous." Neither reaction comes only from the numbers. Each person is carrying a story. Money memory also affects spending. Someone who grew up with very little may react in two different ways. They may become extremely careful because they never want to feel that insecurity again. Or they may spend quickly after earning because they want to enjoy what was missing before. Both behaviors can come from the same childhood scarcity. One moves toward control. The other moves toward relief. A real-life example is a young employee who receives the first good salary in the family. For years, the employee watched parents delay purchases and sacrifice personal needs. When the salary arrives, the employee spends generously on family, gifts, and lifestyle upgrades. The spending comes from love and pride. But if there is no limit, the employee may remain financially unstable. The emotional meaning of money is strong. The money represents success, gratitude, and proof that life has changed. A useful plan should respect those emotions instead of pretending they do not exist. The employee can support family and still create savings. The goal is balance, not shame. Different generations also see money differently because they lived through different economies. A person who experienced severe inflation may distrust cash. A person who watched property prices rise for years may believe property is always safe. A person who began investing during a long period of growth may underestimate risk. A person who entered during a crash may fear investing for a long time. Personal experience feels like universal truth, but it is only one part of reality. This is an important psychological lesson. What happened to you matters. It does not explain everything that can happen. Your experience is a guide. It should not become a prison. People also have different goals. A young person with few responsibilities may be able to take more career risk. A parent supporting children and older family members may need more stability. A person close to retirement may think differently from someone starting a career. The same financial advice does not fit everyone. This is why copying another person's money behavior can be dangerous. You may copy someone's investment without knowing their income, savings, debt, family support, or tolerance for loss. You see the action. You do not see the full system behind it. A real-life example is a student who follows an online creator discussing high-risk investments. The creator may have several income sources, a large emergency fund, and years of experience. The student has limited savings and no stable income. The same risk means something completely different for each person. The student may believe, if they can do it, I can do it. But the financial position is not the same. Good money decisions must fit your reality. Another difference comes from personality. Some people are naturally patient. Others need faster feedback. Some enjoy tracking every expense. Others feel restricted by detailed systems. Some people can watch a fluctuating investment calmly. Others lose sleep. The strongest plan is not always the most mathematically perfect plan. It is the plan you can follow without repeatedly breaking it. Suppose one saving strategy offers a slightly better expected result, but creates constant stress. Another strategy grows more slowly, but allows consistency. The second may be better for the person, because behavior determines whether the plan survives. A perfect plan that you abandon is less useful than a good plan you can maintain. Understanding your own money psychology begins with questions. What did money mean in my childhood? Safety, conflict, status, freedom, fear, generosity. What financial event influenced me most? What kind of loss frightens me? What kind of success attracts me? When do I spend emotionally? What makes me feel behind? These questions reveal the story under the numbers. You should also notice the language used in your family. Money is hard to keep. Rich people are greedy. You must spend while you have it. Never take any risk. Success means owning expensive things. These statements can become invisible rules. Some may contain wisdom. Others may be limiting. As an adult, you can examine them. You do not need to reject your family. You can choose which rules still fit your life. A new rule might be, money can provide safety and choice. Spending can be joyful when it is intentional. Risk should match my capacity. I do not need to look wealthy to become financially secure. This is how money identity changes. Another lesson is to avoid judging every different choice. Someone who values security may save more. Someone who values experiences may spend more on travel. Someone may choose a smaller home to gain freedom. Another may choose a larger home because family space is deeply important. The question is not whether every person makes the same choice. The question is whether the choice matches their values and remains financially sustainable. Judgment becomes dangerous when it creates comparison. You see someone spending more and assume you are behind. You see someone saving more and assume you are irresponsible. But you do not know the complete story. The healthiest comparison is often with your own past behavior. Are you more prepared? Are your choices more intentional? Is your stress decreasing? Are you building more freedom? That is more useful than comparing visible lifestyles. Everyone sees money through personal experience. Wisdom begins when you recognize your own lens without assuming it is the only lens. Chapter 3, Luck, Risk, and the Stories We Tell About Success. People love simple explanations. Someone succeeds, and we say they were brilliant. Someone fails, and we say they made bad choices. Sometimes that is true, but money outcomes are also shaped by luck and risk. Luck means something positive happens outside your full control. Risk means something negative happens outside your full control. Both are always present. You can prepare well and still face bad timing. You can make a weak decision and still benefit from a lucky result. This is why one outcome should not become the entire story. Imagine two business owners. Both are hardworking. Both understand their customers. Both manage money carefully. One opens a business just before the local area begins growing. New offices appear nearby. Customer traffic increases. The business succeeds quickly. The second person opens a similar business just before a major economic slowdown. Customers reduce spending. The business struggles. It would be unfair to say the first person had only skill and the second had only failure. Skill mattered. Timing also mattered. Recognizing luck does not remove effort. It creates humility. Recognizing risk does not remove responsibility. It creates compassion. This is especially important when studying successful people. We often see the winner and copy the visible behavior, but we do not see the people who did something similar and received a different result. This is called survivorship bias. The survivor tells the story. The unsuccessful examples disappear from view. A real-life example is a person who takes a large financial risk and becomes wealthy. After success, they may say, "You must be fearless." But many people took similar risks and lost money. Their stories are less visible. The lesson should not be, take the same risk. A better lesson is to study the broad pattern. What was skill? What was timing? What could easily have gone wrong? Would the decision still look wise if the outcome were different? That last question is powerful. People often judge decisions only by results. A good result can come from a bad decision. A bad result can come from a reasonable decision. Suppose someone puts all their savings into one uncertain opportunity. The opportunity succeeds. The person feels brilliant, but the decision exposed their entire future to one outcome. Luck may have rewarded a risky choice. That does not make the choice safe to repeat. Now imagine someone builds a diversified, cautious plan, but faces an unusual crisis. The result may be poor. That does not mean the plan was foolish. Good decision-making should be judged by the information available at the time, the amount of risk taken, and whether the plan could survive common problems. This approach protects you from learning the wrong lesson. Luck and risk also matter in careers. Two people can be equally talented. One meets the right mentor at the right time. The other works in a company that closes unexpectedly. One receives an opportunity because a manager notices their work. The other is overlooked. These outcomes influence income for years. This is why comparison can become unfair. You compare your current position with someone else's result without seeing the timing, support, health, location, family responsibilities, or random events behind it. You may assume you are less capable. The truth may be more complex. This does not mean you should wait for luck. You should prepare so that good luck has a place to land. Build skills, create relationships, save money, try opportunities, but also leave room for risk. Do not make a plan that requires everything to go correctly. A plan that survives bad luck is stronger than a plan that looks perfect only in good conditions. Emergency savings are one example. You do not know exactly what will go wrong. That is why the money is useful. Insurance is another example. Diversification can be another. A reasonable margin between income and expenses also creates protection. These tools do not remove risk. They reduce the chance that one surprise destroys everything. Consider a family with two different lifestyles. Family A uses nearly all income every month. Their home, vehicle, and regular expenses are based on everything going well. Family B lives below maximum capacity and keeps a reserve. Both families may look comfortable during stable years. Then one job loss occurs. Family A immediately faces serious pressure. Family B also feels stress, but has time to adjust. The reserve did not predict the problem. It respected the fact that risk exists. This is one of the most mature financial behaviors. Accepting that the future will surprise you. People often build plans using what they expect. A better plan also considers what they cannot predict. Luck should also change how we talk about ourselves. When success comes, appreciate your effort without believing you controlled everything. Say, "I worked hard, made good choices, and also benefited from circumstances." This mindset protects you from dangerous confidence. When difficulty comes, accept responsibility for what you can change without assuming every problem proves personal failure. Say, I can study my decisions, but some parts were outside my control. This mindset protects you from destructive shame. Luck and risk should also influence how we learn from others. Do not copy one person's exact outcome. Look for principles that survive across many situations. Patience, low unnecessary debt, a margin of safety, a long-time horizon, a controlled risk, a consistent saving. These principles are less exciting than one dramatic success story. They are also more reliable. A real-life example is investing during a period when almost everything rises. A new investor may make money quickly and assume they have special talent. Confidence grows. The investor takes larger risks. Then conditions change. The earlier success may have contained more luck than they realized. A humble investor asks, would this strategy survive a difficult period? That question is more useful than celebrating one short result. Risk also teaches us not to place our whole identity in financial outcomes. Money matters. Loss hurts, but one result does not define intelligence or worth. The future remains uncertain for everyone. You can control preparation. You cannot control every outcome. That truth may feel uncomfortable. It can also create peace. You no longer need to explain every success as genius or every setback as failure. You can respect effort, acknowledge uncertainty, and build a plan with room for both luck and risk. Chapter 4. Getting wealthy and staying wealthy are different skills. Getting money and keeping money are not the same skill. Building wealth often requires optimism. You take a reasonable risk. You build a career. You start a business. You invest. You believe the future can improve. Staying wealthy requires another mindset. It requires humility, patience, restraint, and the ability to survive. A person can be excellent at creating money and poor at protecting it. This is why some people reach success and later lose most of it. They continue using the behavior that helped them grow, even after the situation changes. Imagine an entrepreneur. In the early stage, aggressive action is useful. The entrepreneur works long hours, invests heavily, and accepts uncertainty. The business grows. Later, the entrepreneur has employees, savings, and family responsibilities. But the same high-risk mindset continues. Every profit is placed into another expansion. Debt increases. There is no reserve. One unexpected problem arrives, and the entire system becomes fragile. The skill that created growth did not automatically create survival. Staying wealthy begins with one principle. Do not risk what you need for something you do not need. This sounds obvious. In real life, ambition can hide the danger. A person already has financial security but wants more status, more speed, or a larger win. They place essential money at risk. If the decision succeeds, the gain may improve lifestyle. If it fails, the loss may damage years of work. The reward and the risk are not equal. A real-life example is someone who has enough savings for a home deposit. A friend introduces a fast investment opportunity. The person thinks, if this doubles, I can buy a better home. They place the deposit money into the opportunity. The investment falls. Now the original goal is delayed for years. The person risked something necessary for something extra. This is where defining priorities matters. Another skill in staying wealthy is survival. Long-term results require staying in the game. You cannot benefit from time if one mistake removes you completely. This applies to investing, business, career, and personal finance. A plan should avoid ruin. Ruin means a loss so serious that recovery becomes extremely difficult. Small setbacks are normal. Total destruction is different. This is why concentration can be dangerous. Putting all savings into one asset, one business, or one uncertain decision may create large upside. It can also create ruin. A margin of safety reduces this risk. A margin of safety means leaving room for error. You save more than the minimum. You borrow less than the maximum offered. You expect some plans to take longer. You keep extra time before a deadline. You avoid building a lifestyle that requires perfect income every month. A margin may look inefficient during good times. It becomes valuable when life becomes difficult. Consider two workers with the same salary. The first chooses a lifestyle that uses nearly all income. The second keeps regular expenses lower and saves the difference. During normal months, the first appears to enjoy more. During an emergency, the second has options. The margin creates freedom. Staying wealthy also requires accepting that progress may be slower than your maximum possible speed. This is difficult because the world celebrates fast results. A person who doubles money quickly gets attention. A person who builds stability slowly receives less attention. But speed often requires more risk. The fastest path is not always the path most likely to survive. Imagine driving. You can reach faster by driving at extreme speed. You also increase the chance that one mistake becomes serious. Financial life works similarly. The goal is not to move as slowly as possible. The goal is to choose a speed that allows continuation. Patience becomes a competitive advantage because many people cannot tolerate slow progress. They change plans constantly. They chase whatever recently performed well. They take more risk after success. They panic after loss. A person who can follow a reasonable plan through ordinary periods avoids many self-created mistakes. Staying wealthy also requires knowing that the future may be different from the past. A business model that worked for 10 years may change. A career may be affected by technology. An expense may rise. A health problem may appear. Humility says, "My current success does not guarantee permanent safety." This is not pessimism. It is preparation. A real-life example is a highly paid professional who assumes income will always remain high. They borrow heavily for a large house, luxury car, and expensive lifestyle. Then the industry changes. Income falls. Because expenses are fixed, the person has little room to adjust. A smaller lifestyle would not have looked as impressive. It would have created survival power. This leads to an important definition of wealth. Wealth is not only what you can buy, it is also how long you can live without being forced into a bad decision. Savings create time. Time allows you to search for better work instead of accepting the first offer. Time allows you to leave a harmful environment. Time allows you to handle emergencies without panic. This is why staying wealthy is connected to freedom. Another important skill is not becoming careless after success. Success changes how people treat you. You may receive praise. You may believe your decisions are always correct. You may stop listening. This is dangerous. The more successful you become, the more important humility becomes. Ask what could break the system. Ask whether the next risk is necessary. Ask whether your confidence is based on a long pattern or one lucky period. You can enjoy success without assuming invincibility. Staying wealthy also involves protecting emotional balance. Large changes in money can affect identity. After earning more, you may feel pressure to maintain a new image. You may believe returning to a simpler lifestyle would look like failure. This makes adjustment harder. A financially strong person is willing to reduce spending when reality changes. They do not protect appearance at the cost of survival. Imagine someone whose business income falls for 1 year. One option is to keep the same visible lifestyle through debt. Another is to reduce expenses early and protect the business. The second choice may feel embarrassing. It is often wiser. Survival sometimes requires ego to become smaller. The deepest lesson of this chapter is that wealth should be built to last. Growth matters. Protection matters too. Optimism helps you begin. Humility helps you remain. Chapter 5, Why Real Wealth is Often Invisible. When people think about wealth, they often picture visible things. A large house, an expensive car, luxury clothing, a premium phone, travel, a lifestyle that attracts attention. But visible spending is not the same as wealth. Visible spending shows that money was spent. Wealth is the money and freedom that remain unseen. This difference is easy to miss. A person driving an expensive car may be wealthy. They may also have a large loan, high monthly payments, and very little savings. A person wearing simple clothes may have strong savings, low debt, and many choices. You cannot see financial strength clearly from appearance. This creates a psychological trap. People compare their private finances with someone else's visible lifestyle. You see the car, you do not see the loan. You see the holiday, you do not see the credit card balance. You see the house, you do not see the monthly pressure. The visible object becomes evidence of success, even when the full financial position is unknown. A real-life example is a young professional who buys a luxury vehicle after receiving a promotion. The vehicle creates attention. Coworkers admire it. Family members speak proudly. But the monthly payment uses a large part of the salary. The person stops saving. Any unexpected expense creates stress. From the outside, the promotion appears to have created wealth. Inside, it created a stronger need for the next salary. Another employee in the same company keeps an older vehicle and saves the difference. This person attracts less attention. After several years, they have an emergency fund and more freedom to change jobs. The financial strength is real, but less visible. This is why wealth is often what you do not see. The unspent money, the purchase that was delayed, the larger home that was not chosen, the status upgrade that was refused. These choices do not create public applause. They create private options. This does not mean expensive things are always wrong. Money is meant to support life. A person may genuinely value a car, home, travel, or high-quality product. The important question is whether the purchase fits the financial system and personal values. The problem begins when spending is mainly used to create an image. Status spending often has a hidden misunderstanding. You buy something because you want other people to admire you, but people usually admire the object more than the owner. When you see someone in a luxury car, you may imagine yourself driving it. Your attention is on the car and the feeling it represents. The owner may believe the admiration proves personal importance. In reality, the object receives much of the attention. This can create an endless cycle. You buy one symbol of success. The excitement fades. Other people become used to it. A newer symbol is needed. Status has no natural finish line. There is always a more expensive home, watch, vehicle, or lifestyle. If approval is the goal, enough never arrives. Real wealth provides something less visible, but often more valuable. Control over time. The ability to decide how to spend a day. The ability to leave work that damages health. The ability to help family during a crisis. The ability to rest without immediate financial panic. The ability to wait for a better opportunity. These freedoms may not create an impressive photograph. They change daily life deeply. Imagine two people with different careers. The first has a high salary, but very high fixed expenses. They dislike the job but cannot leave because every month requires the full income. The second earns less but has savings and lower commitments. They can take time to learn a skill, search for another position, or refuse a harmful workplace. Who has more financial power? Income matters, but the second person may have more freedom. This is why saving is not only delayed spending. Saving is purchasing future choice. Every amount saved gives a small part of the future back to you. You do not need to know exactly what the money will be used for. Unexpected opportunities and problems will come. The savings create space. A real-life example is an employee who quietly saves for several years. No one sees a dramatic lifestyle change. Then the company becomes unstable. Many workers panic. This employee has enough reserve to search carefully, instead of accepting the first poor offer. The visible years looked ordinary. The invisible wealth created freedom at the moment it mattered. Real wealth also reduces the need to perform. When financial self-respect comes from stability instead of appearance, you can make calmer choices. You do not need every purchase to communicate success. You can choose a smaller option without feeling smaller as a person. This is a psychological form of freedom. Comparison loses some power. You begin measuring financial life through questions like, how prepared am I? How much choice do I have? Can my plans survive difficulty? Are my expenses connected to real values? Do I feel less controlled by money? These questions are more useful than, do I look successful? Another part of invisible wealth is unused capacity. Suppose a bank says you can borrow a large amount. You choose less. The unused borrowing capacity becomes a margin of safety. Suppose your income could support a more expensive lifestyle. You choose a moderate one. The difference becomes savings and flexibility. Unused capacity may look like you are not taking full advantage. In reality, it can protect your future. People often feel pressure to turn every increase in income into visible improvement. A raise becomes a new car. A bonus becomes an expensive purchase. A business profit becomes a lifestyle upgrade. If every gain becomes a permanent expense, wealth remains difficult to build. A stronger habit is allowing some income growth to remain invisible. You can improve life while also increasing the gap between income and spending. That gap is where financial strength grows. A useful exercise is to list what money gives you beyond objects. Security, time, privacy, choice, health support, education, the ability to help, the ability to say no. When these values become clear, invisible wealth feels more meaningful. You no longer need every financial win to become visible. You can let some wins remain quietly in the background, protecting the life you want. Chapter 6, Patience, Compounding, and the Power of Time. Compounding means growth builds on earlier growth. People often connect this idea with investments. It also applies to habits, skills, reputation, relationships, and knowledge. Small gains can become powerful when given enough time. The difficulty is that compounding looks unimpressive in the beginning. Early progress is slow. Most of the visible result arrives later. This makes patience emotionally difficult. People want proof now. They want savings to become large quickly. They want investments to show strong returns. They want a new business to grow immediately. They want skills to create income fast. When progress feels slow, they change direction. Each change may restart the process. Time never gets the chance to do its work. Imagine a person who saves $200 every month. In the first year, the total may not feel life-changing. The person compares it with the cost of a home or retirement and thinks, this is too small. If they stop, the early conclusion becomes true. If they continue, increase the amount when possible, and allow time, the habit can become meaningful. The exact future result depends on many factors, and nothing is guaranteed. The psychological point is that consistency gives time something to work with. A real-life example is learning. A student practices a language for 20 minutes each day. After 1 week, the improvement feels small. After 1 month, it is noticeable but limited. After several years, the same habit may create fluency. The daily action did not become dramatic. Time multiplied it. Money behavior works similarly. One careful decision rarely changes everything. A repeated pattern does. Saving regularly, avoiding high-cost debt, increasing skill, keeping expenses below income, staying patient during emotional periods. Each action may look ordinary. Together, over time, they can create stability. Compounding needs 2 things: a reasonable positive process and enough time. People often focus only on the rate of growth. They search for the fastest return. But time can be more important than speed. A moderate result sustained for a long period may become more powerful than a high result that lasts briefly or ends in a large loss. This is why extreme risk can damage compounding. A person builds wealth for years, then takes one unnecessary risk and loses most of it. The loss is not only the money, it is also the future growth that money could have produced. Protecting the base matters. Consider two approaches. One person wants rapid wealth and repeatedly changes investments based on recent excitement. Another follows a simple, diversified, long-term plan suited to their situation and keeps adding consistently. The first person may sometimes achieve spectacular results. They may also create more chances for emotional mistakes. The second path looks less exciting. Its strength comes from survival and time. This is not a promise about any specific investment. It is a behavioral principle. Repeated unnecessary changes can interrupt long-term progress. Compounding also teaches patience with careers. A person learns one skill, then another related skill. They build trust. They meet people. They complete projects. At first, each step seems small. Later, the skills and relationships combine. An opportunity appears that would not have been possible at the beginning. The visible opportunity may look sudden. The preparation was not sudden. A real-life example is a designer who spends years doing ordinary projects. They improve communication, software skills, and business understanding. One client recommends them to a larger company. Income rises. People may call the opportunity lucky. Luck may be part of it, but years of accumulated skill allowed the person to use the opportunity. Compounding often hides before it becomes visible. This is why patience should not be confused with doing nothing. Patience means continuing a sensible process without demanding immediate proof. You still review the plan. You still adapt when facts change. You do not change direction only because boredom appears. Boredom is one of the greatest threats to long-term behavior. A good plan becomes familiar. The mind begins searching for something more exciting. A new strategy promises faster progress. A new trend receives attention. You feel that staying with the old plan means missing out. Sometimes change is necessary, but constant change can become its own risk. Before changing, ask, has the underlying reason changed? Is the current plan truly failing? Or am I simply tired of waiting? This question protects long-term thinking. Compounding also requires accepting uneven results. Growth does not happen in a smooth line. Some years may be strong, others may be weak. A business may grow slowly, then quickly. A career may remain stable, then change through one opportunity. A savings plan may face an emergency that temporarily reduces progress. If you expect a smooth path, normal variation can feel like failure. The strongest long-term behavior is flexible consistency. You stay connected to the direction while adjusting the action. During a difficult month, you may save less rather than nothing. During a career crisis, you may focus on learning rather than immediate growth. During a market decline, you follow a risk plan instead of making a decision from panic. Patience is not passive. It is emotional control across time. A useful real-life example is a family saving for a home. The family follows a plan for several years. Then a medical expense uses part of the savings. They feel discouraged. One response is to believe all progress was wasted. Another is to recognize that savings protected the family from debt during the emergency. The goal is delayed, but the financial system proved its value. They rebuild gradually. Compounding includes recovery. Time can work only if you remain in the process. Another lesson is to begin earlier when possible, but not to use a late start as an excuse. People hear about compounding and feel regret. I should have started years ago. Regret does not create more time. Beginning now is more useful. A late start may require different expectations or higher effort. It is still a start. The best time available to you is the present. Patience becomes easier when the goal is connected to freedom rather than comparison. If you are trying to become richer than someone else, waiting feels painful because the comparison changes every day. If you are trying to build your own security and choice, slow progress still has meaning. Time is one of the greatest forces in financial life. But it works quietly. You must allow quiet progress to remain long enough to become visible. Chapter 7. Know what is enough and build your own money system. One of the most dangerous financial problems is not knowing what is enough. If enough is never defined, every success becomes the beginning of another chase. You earn more. Soon it feels normal. You buy more. The new lifestyle becomes ordinary. You compare yourself with someone at the next level. The finish line moves again. This can continue for a lifetime. The problem is not ambition. Ambition can build skill, security, and opportunity. The problem is endless ambition without a personal stopping point. A person who never feels enough may risk what already matters for something extra. Imagine an executive who has built strong savings, a comfortable home, and financial security. The executive wants one more major gain. They place a large part of their wealth into a risky deal. The deal fails. The person did not risk survival to escape poverty. They risked security to increase status. This is why enough is a form of protection. Enough does not mean you stop growing. It means you know what you will not sacrifice for more. You may say, I want to grow my career, but not by destroying my health. I want a better income, but not through dishonest work. I want to invest, but not with money my family needs soon. I want a comfortable lifestyle, but not one that removes all freedom. These limits are personal. They help you make decisions before emotion becomes intense. A real-life example is a business owner whose company is already stable. A new expansion could create more profit. It would also require heavy debt and years of additional stress. The owner studies the decision and realizes that the current business already supports the desired life. Choosing not to expand is not fear. It may be a clear definition of enough. Another person in the same situation may choose expansion because growth supports a deeply valued goal and the risk is manageable. The lesson is not that one answer fits everyone. The lesson is to know what you are trying to achieve. Without a personal goal, the world will choose one for you. The world often says, more is better. A larger home is better. A more expensive car is better. A higher title is better. A bigger number is better. But more always has a cost. More responsibility. More maintenance. More pressure. More risk. The real question is whether the cost supports your life. A healthy money system begins with values. What should money do for you? Maybe the answer is safety. Maybe it is freedom. Maybe it is supporting family, education, a home, a creative work, travel, time, service. When the purpose is clear, money decisions become easier. You can spend generously on what matters and reduce spending on what does not. This is different from extreme restriction. A strong money system should support life, not turn life into constant fear. Consider two people who spend the same amount. The first spends automatically on things that create little joy. The second spends intentionally on family experiences, health, and learning. The number may be similar. The meaning is different. Good financial behavior is not only about spending less. It is about spending in alignment with values. The next part of a money system is a margin. Income should not be completely consumed by regular commitments when possible. The gap creates savings. Savings create time. Time creates choice. The amount will differ by person and season. Someone with a low income may have very little room. The first step may be understanding spending, reducing one unnecessary leak, or increasing skill and income. Someone with a higher income may have more room but also stronger lifestyle pressure. The principle remains the same. Try to build a gap between what comes in and what must go out. A simple system may include several categories: essential needs, future savings, protection for emergencies, long-term goals, enjoyment, giving or family support. The exact percentages are personal and depend on circumstances. The important thing is that money receives direction before emotion spends all of it. Automation can help. Savings can move soon after income arrives. Bills can be scheduled. A fixed personal spending amount can reduce guilt and confusion. The system should reduce repeated decision-making. Another part is an emergency reserve. An emergency fund does not produce an exciting, visible lifestyle. It creates resilience. The right amount depends on employment stability, responsibilities, health, and personal circumstances. The principle is to keep enough accessible money so one common surprise does not immediately become expensive debt or panic. Next, control high-cost debt. Debt can be useful in some situations, but it also reduces future flexibility. Every required payment is a claim on income you have not yet earned. The more fixed commitments you carry, the fewer choices you have later. Before borrowing, ask, what problem does this solve? What total cost will I pay? How stable is the income used for repayment? What happens if circumstances change? Would I still choose this without social pressure? These questions slow down emotional decisions. A personal system also needs a risk rule. Never place money needed soon into a situation that can lose value suddenly. Do not risk the entire future on one outcome. Understand what you are buying before committing money. Avoid decisions based only on urgency, popularity, or promises of easy profit. When uncertain, qualified professional advice may help. This video is educational and cannot replace personal advice based on your full financial situation. Your system should also include enjoyment. If every money decision feels like punishment, the plan may be difficult to maintain. Create room for what genuinely improves life. A meal with people you love, a hobby, a useful trip, a meaningful gift. The purpose of saving is not to delay all life forever. The purpose is to balance present life with future freedom. A real-life example is a family that creates separate amounts for future goals and monthly enjoyment. Because enjoyment is planned, they do not feel guilty about every small experience. Because savings are protected, enjoyment does not destroy future security. Balance makes the system sustainable. Another important habit is reviewing the system regularly. Life changes. Income changes. Family needs change. Goals change. A plan that worked 3 years ago may need adjustment. Review without reacting to every small event. You might ask every month or every few months, did spending match my values? Is the emergency reserve still appropriate? Have fixed expenses become too high? Am I taking unnecessary risk? Are my goals still meaningful? What should change next? This creates awareness without obsession. The final part is building a personal definition of success. Financial success may mean owning more. It may also mean needing less. It may mean freedom from high-cost debt, time with family, the ability to choose meaningful work, the ability to sleep without constant money fear, the ability to help someone without damaging your own stability. Your definition should be clear enough to guide decisions. Write it in one sentence. For example, money should give my family safety, allow meaningful choices, and support a simple, enjoyable life. Now compare major decisions with that sentence. Does the decision create more freedom or more dependence? Does it support safety or only appearance? Does it match your values or another person's expectations? This is how psychology becomes practical. You stop treating money as only a number. You use it as a tool for the life you actually want. The psychology of money begins with a simple truth. Financial decisions are human decisions. They are shaped by fear, hope, memory, pride, patience, comparison, and identity. This is why intelligence alone is not enough. You can know the numbers and still make an emotional mistake. You can have ordinary knowledge and build stability through steady behavior. The lessons in this video are not about becoming perfect with money. They are about becoming more aware. Understand the story you learned about money. Respect luck and risk. Do not confuse visible spending with invisible wealth. Build a margin for surprise. Give compounding time. Protect what you need. Know what enough means. Create a system that matches your real life. Your income matters. What remains matters too. A higher salary can improve life, but only when behavior allows some of that improvement to become security, choice, and peace. You do not need to look wealthy to build wealth. You do not need to win every financial race. You need a plan that can survive ordinary mistakes, difficult seasons, and an uncertain future. Money can buy many things. One of its greatest uses is control over your time. The ability to wait. The ability to say no. The ability to recover. The ability to choose. These forms of wealth may be invisible to other people. You will feel them in your daily life. The next time money enters your hands, do not ask only, "What can I buy?" Also ask, "What freedom can I protect? What future problem can I make easier? What value do I want this money to support?" Those questions can slowly change your financial behavior, and behavior repeated over time can change the direction of your life.